Hi, this is Donna Druchunas. In this video I want to show you how we do the thumb gore on these Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Eve mittens. So we've knit a cuff in twisted ribbing, which is knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, but the knits are all through the back loop. And we've got our cuff finished. I've got one here that I'll show you. What we're going to do is we're going to start adding this extra section at the same time as we're knitting the pattern. But I'm going to have two separate videos. I want to show you how the thumb gore works first. If you look at the chart for the two sizes, they're similar. They both have this yellow column of X's, and it's above a purl column. So we started our knit one, purl one ribbing. If you're anything like me, you started with the knit one. So what we want to do before we start that hand cuff is we're going to just knit that first stitch through the back loop, and it's going to become the last stitch of the round. So I'm just going to slide it onto the last needle there. I'm using a different color just so you can see where I'm starting the thumb gore after. So now the first stitch of the round is a purl, and that matches up to what's in the chart. So we're going to do 6 rounds where we're knitting. That's going to stay a purl, and we're going to be knitting the pattern stitches. Just notice on the first round of the cuff we do have an increase. So the thumb gore will be knit right there instead of this X. So notice it starts with one purl, and then this is the thumb gore stitch. It's a little bigger for the size large, but basic idea is the same for both sizes. When you get up to this stitch, which is now the first purl of the round, instead of doing that one purl, you're going to start here on row 7, which is row 1 of the first row of the thumb gore. You're going to go increase, purl, increase, and we're going to do make one purlwise. So all of our increases will be purlwise, and they become purls in the pattern. So then you have 3 stitches there. I like to put a marker right after that first stitch. The beginning of it, you don't need a marker. It'll be the beginning of your first needle, whether that's a double pointed needle or a circular. So this is not going to be 1 stitch all the way up. It's going to be 3 stitches for a couple rounds, then 5, then 7, all the way up to 13 or whatever it is for the large, or if you customize it, however many. But all your thumb stitches there. So you can see this little triangle here coming out of the side right here. That's what we're making for the thumb gore. And if I stretch it open this way, you can see that whole triangle here with the purl increases that matches that chart. So this is what we're knitting. It was 1 stitch. It was 1 purl stitch way down there, and then it increases all the way up. It gets a little bit of cable patterning in it, and it goes up to where the hand splits off from the thumb, and then we'll set those stitches aside. So that's what this is. Then when you get back to the top of this, we're going to put those stitches aside. We're going to cast on 3 stitches, and then there'll be purls for 1 round, and then we're going to decrease back down to the 1 stitch that we had when we started. So down here we have 21 stitches in the small, it's 29 in the large. When we get back up to the here, after we're done with all the thumb stuff, we're back to the same number, 21 or 29. Okay, one last thing about the thumb gore. This is the larger size. So you can see the same thing happening there. I know it's dark yarn, but you can see the same thing happening there, that it comes out as a triangle coming off of that 1 purl stitch right there is what it grows out of. Okay, so this is what's called a sore thumb gore, because it's done right at the beginning of the round. It sticks out on to one side, and the palm and the back of the hand are the same. So there's no left or right mitten. They can either one be worn on either hand. You flip it over, it's the same. If you really don't want to do the pattern on both sides, you can make one side of your mitten stockinette stitch or plain ribbing or whatever you want, and the other side the fancy pattern, but then you'll have to remember to put your thumb on the other side, and so you get a right and a left. But I just did them the same, so you don't have to pay attention. So the last thing to notice is I want to show you when I put this on. that the thumb gore ends here, and when you put it on, it actually comes off on an angle, even though it's just ending straight if you look at it that way. When you're wearing it on your hand, it ends on an angle. So when you put your thumb stitches on hold to set aside your thumb gore, before you continue, you can put those stitches on hold, cast on your stitches, and maybe knit a couple stitches. Then I want you to try it on, or maybe do one whole round but no more, and try it on. And you want to make sure that that's where your thumb joins your hand, is where that top of the thumb gore is when it's set aside, because you want this to fit properly with the cuff down below the heel part of your hand where your wrist is, and this making sure it's long enough to come up to where your thumb joins your hand and not being too short, because then it won't fit. Pretty simple, but that's one of the important fit issues. Okay, so that's it on the thumb gore for these mittens. This chart replaces that yellow stitch for a period, adding a triangle that makes the lower part of the hand wider than the upper part of the hand.